check your beliefs. We're going to talk about that today, and we're getting started right now. Good morning. It's 7 degrees here in Wichita Falls today. And so what I thought I would do is share some of the things that I do to fact check the world. I don't know if you've noticed, but the world is in a little bit of a kerfuffle right now. I think that's a good word, a kerfuffle, because anything else sounds like a struggle. And the fact of the matter is that if you spend any time on the channel with me or any of my other channels or social media outlets, you know I'm all about positivity. I'm all about finding the good where it is. But, you know, I want to start by telling you a little story. I have a family, millennials, Gen X's. They're always on their phone. So this is what most of our time together is like. Somebody will say something in my family, and the fact checkers get on their phone. They're fact checking it on Google. I love Google. I used to say, you know, what did we do before Google? What did we do before YouTube? The world has transformed now with this thing called AI, that I am the biggest advocate for AI. And let me tell you why. One of the reasons I'm such a big advocate for AI is that, number one, it makes my life simpler and gives me more time. So I don't know, as an abundance teacher, I always want to have more time. But one of the most incredible things is that it's become my replacement for searching and researching. My replacement for Google. Let me explain to you why that is. Google is a keyword search engine. Even though Google has incorporated AI, which is fantastic, however, it's still going off keywords. Now, what do I mean by that? If you've ever looked at a Google search, you put a question in, like Google actually recognizes a question. Google has never recognized a question. Never. I mean, I learned that early on, but the fact is that it's taking the words in your question and then pulling out the words. And if you've ever noticed when you do a Google search that you don't always get what you're searching for because your brain is asking a question in a specific way and Google's just pulling out keywords. So here's what I want to share with you. And I think that this is really key to a series that I'm going to start to produce called The History of the United States. And it really only goes back to 1973. And it's the economic history. It's the history of how my life has shown up with respect to real estate, with mortgages, with abundance, with economics, all of those good things. But guess what? They affect all of you. And they particularly affect us here in Wichita Falls because we have one of the lowest cost of livings in America, which is, you know, fantastic. I've done videos on it. Check them out. But there's a particular AI called Perplexity, perplexity.ai. And I am honestly obsessed with it because I don't know about you, but if you look at any media, unless it's a podcast, which you know that these are basically opinions, but when you look at media and it's press media, they're supposed to be telling you factual information. I don't care who you're listening to, right, left, middle, somewhere in between, or a cartoon, if it says that it's the news. It's biased. It just is. And that's a problem because they're pandering to their audience, whoever that audience may be, of the people in the demographics. It's a marketing technique. And I've taught about marketing for years and years and years. And basically, just to kind of put it in a nutshell, what marketing is understanding who your target audience is and then giving them what they want. Typically, it's to solve a problem. What all media and all social media and all advertising is about, only one thing: eyeballs, so that they can convince you to buy whatever it is. Now, it might be a product like Crest toothpaste or Kleenex. They want you to buy their product. In the case of the media, they want you to watch with your eyeballs. They're buying your eyeballs, literally buying your eyeballs. They're buying your eyeballs so that they can then get money from their advertisers to pay for their production. That's it. It's so simple. But yet, we believe what we're hearing. Oh, it makes me insane. Now, I don't care which side of any argument you're on, and most people that I notice need to go back to college and take a debate course, because a debate is a conversation between two human beings or a team that presents their point of view, and then another side presents their point of view, and there's an audience watching, and then the audience decides which way they're swayed the most. A debate is not, oh my God, this is so terrible. That's not a debate. That's crazy ranting. But I digress. I'm here to talk about fact-checking. Fact-checking, fact-checking, fact-checking. Now, to the best of your ability, fact-checking is about determining the facts so that you, not somebody that's telling you how to think, can create your own opinion, if you will. Let me explain to you how this works. I am going to read some of my searches that I've done on Perplexity. I sometimes think it leans one way, left or right, depending on the answer that I'm getting, because I've got an opinion when I go into what the answer is that I want. But the beauty of it is you can refine the answer, which is so fabulous. This is all I wrote in Perplexity was, when did the concept of woke first become part of the culture conversation? Because it hasn't been part of the culture conversation my whole life. I mean, I'm old, but I was not clear when that conversation started, because there's a lot of conversation around it of the idea of woke. And the answer came back from Perplexity. The concept of woke has been part of the cultural conversation for nearly a century, with the roots in African American culture and social justice movements. The term's evolution can be traced through several key periods. So it goes through where it started with the African American community in the word or the version of, in the 1920s and 1923, a Jamaican philosopher, Marcus Garvey, wrote, "Wake up Ethiopia, wake up Africa." So it has its roots way back when in the African American culture, because clearly they were not being recognized, meaning the African American culture, black culture, was not being recognized for their own humanness and rights and all of the things that we created the civil rights movement over. I then wrote, if woke was originally a term to bring awareness to Africans or African Americans, despite George Floyd and BLM, because that's when the actual word woke started to come up into our culture recently, how did it come to be a catch-all term for anything leaning towards social causes, DEI, LGBT, aid to foreign countries, immigration policies? Because if you think about it, the conversation around woke is not about African Americans anymore. It's kind of, I've heard this statement, and this, I don't believe this, but I've heard people say this, LGBT has stolen the rainbow, right? Because it's got an avatar, meaning the rainbow around it. So some things have come to mean other things. And so what it says is, this is Perplexity answering this question, because Perplexity goes out and looks at all of the information and comes back with a distilled answer. The evolution of woke from its original meaning to a broader catch-all term for various social causes can be attributed to several factors. Expansion of social movements as BLM, social media amplification. Platforms like Twitter and Facebook played a crucial role in spreading the term and the associated concepts. Mainstream media adoption. As the term gained traction, it was increasingly used in mainstream media. Corporate co-option. Okay, so corporations co-opted it. Political polarization. What it goes on, and it goes on to explain how something came to be. Whether you ascribe to woke or you are railing against woke, what I find very fascinating is that most people don't know why they're doing something. They just don't. They're following along. Well, my favorite word is sheeple. They're following along like sheeple. Whether, I don't care which side you're following, but you have got to, as far as I'm concerned, start fact-checking your own beliefs. Fact-check your own beliefs. And if you don't do that, you are parroting somebody else's words. And because I'm an abundance teacher and I coach to help people see that your beliefs, all of them, I don't care if they're political or otherwise, are as a result of other people's voices in your head. Your constant belief is somebody else's voice and you've adopted it. And I believe that it's time for everybody, especially in Wichita Falls because I love it so much here that you can create the life that you want, because there's so much potential and possibility here. But the fact remains that you are in charge of creating your life. So if you take radical responsibility for your own experience and your own beliefs, transformational things are going to happen to you. I am going to share this perplexity in the body here so you can see. There's a lot of AI out there that I use for marketing purposes that you have to be very specific about your prompts, like to get the answers that you want. And I've branded my voice and a whole lot of other good things with AI, and I'll share more about AI with you in another video. But on perplexity, I literally have taken perplexity and replaced Google with it, because perplexity actually can understand your question, and then you can ask follow-up questions, which I always do. I'm sharing this with you so that you can begin to take more responsibility, number one, for your own life, because the only thing you're in charge of is your life. You are not in charge of having anybody else. And I want you to hear this very loudly. You're not in charge of convincing anyone else of your particular viewpoint. What's so important is that you know what your viewpoint, what your version of the world is, and live from that space, from awareness. Because if you're unconscious about your beliefs, which most people are, if you become aware of your beliefs and why you have the beliefs, chances are you're going to change those yourself. Not me, not AI even, but if you begin to become responsible for everything that you believe, 100% responsible for yourself, not for everybody else. This is about radical responsibility for yourself. Life is magical. And you know from this channel, I love Wichita Falls, I love this community. And so this is just an opportunity for you to see life differently and use a tool now that we didn't have, literally, maybe even a year ago. I don't know when Perplexity came out, but the original AI chat only went back to, I don't know, 22 or something. Regardless, Perplexity is up to the minute. It's out there searching the internet way better than Google, way better. So your new fact checker. And this is what's interesting is it's also a great party tool. Like when I'm with my family now, I don't Google anything. I fact check with my research through Perplexity to give me factual information. Because here are the facts, then you interpret the facts according to your belief system. Is your belief system right? It is for you. Is my belief system right? It is for me. So here's what I'm gonna leave you with. Get Perplexity, fact check your life, fact check your beliefs, and life will be magical. Queen of Magic out.